Hey guys! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I actually legitimately am really, really excited. We have three amazing authors that are coming on today that we're going to do this author spotlight for. And if you haven't watched the author spotlight before, basically what it means is the Facebook group FanGrrrl Romance Recs. We have about 47,000 members in it and for urban fantasy, romantasy, and paranormal romance. And so we have authors in that group that we like to feature and throw on the spotlight if they want to come on for about 10 minutes apiece and tell us about themselves and what they're writing, what their current works in progress is, what they've just published, or all that jazz. And then at the end, what we do is we do an author panel where, as I hear things throughout the each segment, I can address it in the panel. Like if I hear something that's like a really good panel topic, or if you guys leave questions in the chat, then we can talk about whatever it is that you like want us to address for the most part. I'm sure there are some restrictions to that. So anyways, if you haven't already, on the post, wherever you're watching this, we're streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on the FanGrrrl Romance Recs Facebook page, the Authors Corner Facebook group, the big group. We're streaming on YouTube, Instagram. I think that's it. So, but wherever you're watching us from, restream, if you give whatever platform you're on access, it will show us your name. So, right now, like if you comment from Facebook, it'll say Facebook user, and we won't know who you are unless you give Restream access. So make sure you do that if you can. That would be great. And also, each of the authors that are on the spotlight are in the post on wherever you're watching it, and also links to their books on Amazon. So as you're listening, and if you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing, I would love to support that author, you can just click download, one click only, and get the book. So anyways, okay. So without much further ado, I'm going to bring on our first author. Oh, I should talk about who the authors are and make sure to say hi too. So I can make sure to see that, like right now, I don't have any comments, which is bizarre by this stage. So make sure you give us a comment so we know that you're there. And it just gives us the love, So, yeah, so we've got, I should go over all the authors that we have. We have J.N. Curtis. We have who's coming up first, and then Adam Gaffen, and then Heather Carson. So, so it's just a great lineup. So let me go ahead and bring on our first author to talk to, and this is J.N. Curtis. Here we go. Hi. How's
Hi.
it going?
Going
Hi.
great. I'm so excited
How
to
are
be
you?
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Where are you in the States? Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I live in Henderson, Nevada, so
Okay.
it's nice and sunny out right now. Really like the nice weather.
That's nice. It's probably a little bit cooler than where I am in Florida, just a smidgen. I don't know. Just
Probably,
thinking.
yeah. I probably, yeah. And definitely not
Yeah.
as humid. So
Yeah. Okay. So let's just dive right into it. So you write, what genre would you say that you write?
I write fantasy romance, usually new adult fantasy romance. It's kind of the area that I write in.
Okay. Okay. Is it set like in our modern world, would you say, or is it more like a different world since it's fantasy romance
Yeah, it's more
or
second world or high fantasy romance.
okay.
So, yeah, I used to write urban fantasy, but that was more like YA, and so now I have switched over, and so it's more high fantasy that I kind of stick to.
Okay. And so do you have so for your romance, is it steamy, or are you fade to black? Are you clean romance? Where
Yeah,
do
it's
you reside?
spicy romance. So there's
Okay.
usually right now I'm working on fairy tale retellings, and so they're kind of shorter novels. There's 2 to 3 spicy scenes usually in the books. I felt like when I switched over and started writing fantasy romance that I wanted to write like full relationships, right? And so if I'm writing a romantic relationship, it's going to include, the spicy aspects of a relationship. So
Right. Okay. So what I try to do before all of these spotlights is read a sample of the books of the authors that are on the spotlight, right? because what we do for these spotlights is I allow any authors in the group a chance to come on here. And so it doesn't mean I've always read them. And so I did try yours and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's so let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
book. It's a Swan Lake retelling, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's of Curses and Moonlight. I can hold it a little closer. You can see it.
That's beautiful.
Um, and the series is called The Villain's Kiss. So this is the first book in the Villain's Kiss series. So it's like a twisted fairy tale retelling where the traditional hero ends up getting with the traditional villain in the story.
Awesome. And would you consider it dark or not since it's
It's
twisted a
definitely
little bit?
darker and more adult. I mean, it is, spicy, but it is yeah, it is darker. I wouldn't say it's like super dark, but it is does have darker elements to it for sure.
Okay, cool. Actually, someone's on the chat right now saying that they love Swan Lake and they love the cover. I do think the cover is gorgeous. I love the blue on the
Yes.
cover for sure.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, let's look at it again.
Yeah. It's beautiful. My
It's
cover
beautiful.
designer is amazing. Blue Raven book covers, she does an amazing job. So,
Okay, okay, so that's awesome. I'm glad you gave her a shout out too, because
yeah.
cover artists are their gem, aren't they? Like they
Yes,
just do so
she's
much. The
amazing.
cover does so much for
Yes.
authors. So, okay, so when I started reading it, I noticed that you write third person.
Yes, I do. Which is actually kind of a switch for me. When I wrote my YA, it was all in first person. And then when
Okay,
I decided to write fantasy romance, I decided to switch to third person. Mainly because I have like multiple point of views, so I felt like it would work better in my stories.
yeah, okay. So that's what was going to be my next question: is why did you choose to start writing third person? Is it also because I have noticed that a lot of romance fantasies do have third person writing? You know, like Sarah J. Maas, she writes in third person.
Yes.
You know, a lot of them do. So did that play a factor at all, or is it just because of all the different point of views?
Yeah, well, the point of view has definitely played a factor, and I just think I do know a little bit about like publishing research. Publishing research show that people tend to like third person a little bit better than first person. That's not for everyone,
Really?
obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, some people just in general, third person is more accepted than first person. So
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that. So, so what I can say, I don't usually gravitate towards third person. I gravitate towards first person. But what I actually really liked about this when I was reading it, the sample, is it's really easy to like you forget that you're reading third person. Like you've written it very, very, very well. Like a lot of times where I
thanks.
struggle with third person, and my friends that do too, that are more first person people, it's because when you start reading it, like you're constantly reminded that someone's narrating it to you.
Okay,
And for you, I didn't feel that way. I absolutely loved it.
nice.
I just thought like I totally forgot. I was actually it was like I think it was like maybe like 20-30% into the sample where I was like, I'm reading third person. I didn't realize I was reading third person. I'm reading third person. This is great. You know, so that's definitely a skill, I think.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that you could get, so lost in it, you don't really realize what viewpoint you're actually reading from, so that's cool. I mean, like, 3rd or 1st, basically, yeah.
Yeah, but you still have chapters where the front of the top of the chapter is someone's name because I guess
Right.
you're getting their perspective. They're part of the
Yes.
story even though it's in third person.
Yes, so
Yeah,
it's in
we
3rd
like know where
person,
we
but
are.
it's very, yeah, close 3rd person, so I'm writing from a specific person's viewpoint in 3rd person, yeah.
Okay, cool. And how did you start writing? Like, why did you start? Just
I've always enjoyed writing, so it was something I really enjoyed. When I started having kids, I was like, I had a lot of time on my hands 'cause my kids were really young, and so I was staying home and taking care of them. And I was like, I need something that's not going to drive me crazy. And so I started looking into writing. I took a writing class at the community college online, and so that really helped to give me a structure for writing. And so then I was like, I'm going to take the story that I'm writing, and I'm going to go as far as I can with it. And so I kept going and ended up publishing it in 2020 was when I published my first book. And I really enjoyed it. And so since then, I've just kept going.
oh, that's awesome. That's really so let's tell us about like Swan Lake, the actual so it's obviously not called Swan Lake, it's Curses of Moonlight, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us like where the idea came from and tell us a little bit too about like what it's a sorry, I'm like stumbling. What is about?
That's
I'm
okay.
stuttering today. Sorry.
That's all
Like
right.
what is it about? So people, but you don't want to give us spoilers. So be careful because we
Right.
want people to go pick it up and read it, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So Yeah.
Sure. I wanted to do fairy tale retellings. I felt like people, really love fairy tale retellings, and I felt like I wanted to write one where, like I said, the traditional hero and the traditional villain end up falling in love. And so most of these are going to be like enemies to lovers kind of stories. And so I love writing enemies to lovers. So
I
I
love
wanted
it.
to write that journey. So basically, Odette and Rothbard are my two main characters that are going to end up together. He has her under the swan curse, and so she's trying to find a way to break this curse to get out of it. And through that journey that they're kind of tied together in this curse is, kind of how they end up coming together.
And that's not the traditional Swan Lake story, right?
No.
He's the villain in the traditional
Yes.
Swan Lake story.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Rothbard's the
she ends up with the
traditional.
prince,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And there is
Yeah.
a prince in the story, but they don't end up together. So.
And it's also interesting too, I thought, because Odette is she's an assassin
Yes.
before she gets cursed.
Yes. So I wanted, I knew he was going to, curse. I wanted to keep the swan curse and everything like that. But I also wanted to, I guess, not make Rothbart like completely unlikable. I wanted to give him a good reason, to have her under the
Oh, it's
swan
a good
curse.
reason.
Yeah. And so
I was actually thinking as I was reading, I was thinking how, because I'm thinking, okay, this has got to be the main dude, right? Like, it's got to be a twist from the actual story. This has got to be the main guy. I'm like, how in the world is he ever going to forgive, like, the start of the enemies to lovers? So
right,
obviously,
right.
I haven't got there yet because I'm reading the sample. So for today, but that sounds like that probably is a challenge to get it to pan out. I would
For
say,
sure, for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely wanted, even though like Rothbard has like a good reason to have her under the Swan Curse, I still wanted to keep the relationship, complicated so they could have a good relationship arc throughout the story. So yeah, working through her being an assassin who is part of a group that goes and actually ends up, like killing his parents, is part of what he's working through with her. So.
yeah. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, we have about a minute left, actually a little bit under. What about the other books that you have? How many other books do you have out there, or are they the same? I know you said YA, but in the fantasy romance world, well, YA is it okay too to talk about, but
Yeah.
just real quick.
No, I have a couple of other books. I have actually have them here with me. So I have this Peter Pan retelling, which is also an enemies to lovers, an aged up Wendy ended up falling for, Captain Hook. And it's actually not out yet. It comes out on May 8th, so next month.
Okay, cool.
And that's coming out, so I'm really excited about that. And then I also have A Dark and Lovely Devastation. This was actually my first fantasy romance that I wrote, so this is a bit longer than the shorter fairy tale retellings, and definitely a fun journey. So those are some of the books I have out. I have a Little Mermaid one that's going to be coming out later this year that's also in the same series. Oh, and
Okay,
I forgot to say it, and I want to say really fast
okay,
that
okay. Sorry.
Of Curses and Moonlight is actually free today through Sunday, um,
Yay.
because tomorrow is Fairy Tale Bub, so it's like a download your on your Kindle kind of day, and so I'm part of like a group of fairy tale retellings that are going to be free tomorrow. If people want to see more fairy tale retellings by other authors, you can just go to like my Instagram or my Facebook on J.A. Curtis Books, and I'll have the information posted there tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. Thank you for coming on. We were trying to keep it just to 10 minutes because, well, we just were trying to. But
Yeah,
thank you so much for coming on. Guys, stay tuned because we're going to have a panel at the end and we're going to bring Ginny back. So
awesome. Thank you so
thank you
much,
guys.
Rebecca.
Okay, no problem. Okay, all right, give me a second. It's so funny because for you guys that watch these, I always do this. I always in between each one, I come on here, I start talking. I gotta figure out where to look at the camera. I've got the camera sitting on top of my monitor, so it's like my eyes. I gotta figure out a better way. But I always come on here and kind of talk about each segment in between. Like they can't hear me, but they can. They're like all on the side of my window, like they can all hear it. So whatever. Anyways, but yeah, like when I was talking about the third person earlier, like I truly mean that. I was really surprised. It took me a little bit and I was like, oh dang, this is third person. I didn't even pick that up. So I was just that it was pretty cool. And And I was drawn in for sure. So if you guys like a Swan Lake retelling, you should definitely check it out. There's a link to her book in the post. So okay, all right, we're gonna bring on the next one, and this is Adam Gaffen. Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
So, Jenny, I just grabbed your book.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. It's really cool when authors support each other like that too. I love it. Okay, Adam. So, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. So I've got my little time, so I can see how much time we have. Okay, so first of all, look at your background. You have like this amazing wall color, right? I love it. Is your whole house blue?
Came with the house.
Or is it just the
room? No. The previous owners, a bunch of different colors in different rooms. So we liked it, so we kept it.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. It actually, it kind of reminds me of the Key West, to be honest. It's got the Key West vibes. It feels like Florida for me, like where I live. I don't live in Key West, but I live in Florida. So I can see that you're also.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jimmy Buffett.
There you go. Yeah, Jimmy Buffett's great. And then, so I also can see that you are a dog lover, like me.
Yes, we have 5 dogs and 5 cats, and my office is also the dog's bedroom. So
I have 4 dogs. So I feel we actually had crates all over the house, and now they sleep with us, so we don't crate them anymore. But that was fun when we had the 5 crates set up. We used to have 5, so I get it. I feel it. Okay, Adam, let's talk about what you write, and then how you started writing, and what genre. Because you actually have quite a few books out there, I noticed.
Yeah, I was counting them the other day, and including the anthologies and things that aren't in print anymore, I'm in 33 books. So
what genres?
So primarily science fiction, but I've just launched a full fantasy romance trilogy, the God's Fall trilogy.
Right. And that's the book that we see. Actually, you can probably see it too on the screen here. It's right underneath your face. It's perfect positioning. There you go. Yeah, tilt it so we can see it, so it's not so shiny, so we can see a little bit. Yeah, God's Fall. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I started reading that, right? Because like I said, I've been trying to. I don't always read samples ahead of time, but I really tried to this time. I thought, now how do you pronounce her name? The main character? Kalila?
Oh, Kalili.
Kalili. Kalili.
Yeah, Kalili.
I thought she had a really kind of almost a quirky personality. I was chuckling at times with her. Did you mean to make her funny?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, the book is written from her point of view. It is a first person. And, at the time of the story, she's been on, she's 6,000 years old. She's been on Earth the entire time, and it's been there, done that, very sarcastic and snarky. And that's the way she's absolutely supposed to be.
Yes, I definitely read into the sarcasm. I thought it was I actually got hooked pretty quick. I got hooked in, the prologue was interesting information, and there was some stuff that kind of got my attention about the world building side. And then when chapter 1 started, immediately where she's I'm just going to go ahead and say it, she's in a scene and she's getting it on. And she's sitting there thinking, come on, please, can you hurry up? Can you hurry up? I thought that was so funny. I was chuckling through some of that.
Right. Yeah. The theme through that whole first chapter is she's bored.
Yeah, she's bored. Like, please.
Been there.
Because she's on a mission, right? She's like, she's assigned to the dude who's going to be the next pope or something, right?
Right. It's a possibility that he's going to be the next pope. So she's been assigned. She's a demon, and she's been assigned to corrupt him.
Right. Okay. So go ahead and give us the summary of the story, because we kind of jumped right in, and people probably were like, "What are they talking about?" Sorry.
So it's set in 10th century Rome. Kalili is a demon. She's been sent there to corrupt a potential pope.
Right.
And she finds out that there is an angel that has been sent to kill her, and this just doesn't happen. I mean, it's a long-standing war between heaven and hell, but they don't actually escalate like that. So she has to figure out what to do about it. and she of course encounters the angel. And when she encounters the angel, she realizes, oh, wait a second, there's an attraction here, which absolutely does not compute, makes no sense to her whatsoever. So the first half of the book is her trying to fight whatever this attraction is, deciding, okay, something is seriously screwed up. And she teams up with the angel to go find out what's gone wrong. Why aren't they trying actually to kill each other?
Right. Oh, it looks like you're paused.
So
we can hear you, but your face is pausing.
I'm good.
We can hear you, but your face is pausing. That's so strange because it's been fine this whole time.
Hopefully it's paused at a good expression.
Kind of. Sorry. But we heard everything you had to say. I think
and of course, I can see the pause, so, because everything is flowing perfectly fine on this end. Anyways, so the first book is them figuring out who they are to each other, and actually what they are, because they aren't actually a demon and an angel. That's one of the things that they discover.
Right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I know that now. So it's, I will say that I actually would, other than like her sarcasm and her snarkiness, which I really enjoyed, that was a lot of fun. I liked the world building in it. A lot of times when you start, because I guess it technically is a fantasy romance, right? Technically, it's a fantasy romance. It's right. Okay. Even though it's not our modern world, it's not off world, but it is a fantasy. But a lot of times with fantasy romances, the world building is just like a data dump, like you get into Crescent City, Sarah J. Maas or whatever. And it's just like, you get, inundated with the world building. Yours isn't like that. There's little snippets here and there, little breadcrumbs here and there about that you just kind of folded in. And it was really interesting, the rules on like how they can be killed, or they can't be killed, or like just the angel and demon. You actually you say a term that I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but it's funny. It's like modern day corporation. It's like the main house or the business or
the head office.
Head office. Yeah, you call it the head office. I thought that was great. I was chuckling through all that. I thought it was really good. I thought the snarky, the sarcasm, the world building, I really, really enjoyed it. It was good. And I genuinely, when I got done with the sample, I wanted to keep reading.
Well, when coming from a hard science fiction background, that's a lot of world building as well. And people in that genre do a lot of data. And so I learned not to do it there. So carrying over to the fantasy, and I put it in the prologue too, Kalili is writing this report from 1,000 years. She's writing it from now.
Right.
So
I thought that was
she
clever.
is writing it kind of, she's revealing everything as she was learning it at the time.
Right.
So everything, all of the world building can come in just those little dribs and drabs, a little bit here, a little bit here. Okay, this is important for you to know right now, and going from there without dumping a whole bucket of world building on anybody, because that just slows down the story.
I think it's so
this
smart.
Is a very fast,
Yeah. I think that's a really good skill that you have. I think it's very smart. I think the number one complaint we get off of romance fantasies from people is all the world building up front. It's hard to digest. For people who aren't, like that's not their number one genre, maybe they're like Paranormal Romance or something else, that's the biggest complaint. So the fact that the way you did it, I really liked it. I didn't feel like it was like I was doing my homework, trying to figure out, how does everything, like it just came naturally. So I thought it was really great, for sure. Okay, we only have about a minute left.
Thank you.
So are all of your books LGBTQ or just this one? Like, are they all, is that typically what you write?
Pretty much they are all LGBTQ, yes.
And are they all MF?
Yes,
sorry, not MFs, F, female, or do you ever do male, or do you ever do like, Go ahead.
I don't have male in any of my main characters. I have that in some of my side characters, and I have poly relationships in there as well. So it's just, again, writing science fiction and coming from that background, it was very easy, very easy to see that as just, it's part of their world. So
right. Yeah, no, that's cool. Do you ever have more than 2 love interests? Or is it just always just the 2 love interests?
Well, actually, this series, there's a reason that it's won the Book of 2 and the Book of 3.
Okay. Oh, you're pausing.
So by the end of the,
so problematic.
By the end of the series, by the end of the series, you'll understand why why it's the Book of 3.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Stick around, obviously, for the authors panel. And you guys, we can hear more from Adam when we get to that point. So that's awesome.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Yay. Oh, yeah, no worries. Okay. Oh, that was fun. It's such a bummer that it was going in and out. I just wrote a question in the chat asking if it's me. Maybe it's me that's having the problem with it going in and out with the it being spotty. I'm hard coded into my computer, so hopefully not. I just asked is just Adam, and I'm not seeing any comments back, so I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Seriously, I tried his book last night actually, and no, it's not going out on his side for us. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe am I going in and out? Okay. Anyways, I'll move on. I did try his book last night, and I genuinely really enjoyed it, and I wanted to keep reading, but I couldn't because I had other samples to read for today. There's only so many books I can read. So, you guys, if you're interested in an angel demon story that spans over millennia, and there's I think there's a little bit more action in the story, give it a try and check it out. And, you can get the link to his book in the post. Okay, guys. All right. Last but not least, and then we're going to do an authors panel after we are. Let's bring on Heather. Listen, oh my gosh, I am so excited to talk with you. Like, so excited, because you've been in the group for a while, right? The Facebook group.
Yeah, I've been in for a year and a half. I joined as a reader, and before I even started my paranormal pen names, so it was like I was just there for myself. And then I saw you guys did the author intro, and I was just starting, so I was like, you know what, I'm releasing a new book, let me try. And that kind of, like I said, I think on the author's side, they had you had mentioned use this resource, introduce yourself. I was like, I couldn't believe the amount of love I got just on that post, and it really kind of helped kickstart this PNR pen name of mine. So I love this group. This is one of my favorite groups in the whole world.
When you told me that, I was just like, I love to hear that back from authors. I'll get messages occasionally from authors that'll say, oh my gosh, my author intro post. So for those of you that don't know, the group allows all authors in the group to do not one time only, it's once a year, author intro post where they can introduce themselves. And it really helps. If the post does well, it really helps the author and their book getting the word out. So I was excited that it worked.
Being honest and open. That was, everybody was laughing and stuff. And I was like, well, yeah, I was just being me. And then, and I know that just from TikTok and stuff like that. I'm always let's just be yourself when you're coming out there. Don't try to force the sale or something, I guess is what it would be. But it's just, I don't know. And then you get to talk to everyone, you get to interact, and that's fun. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, I've got to tell you. So The Witch's Wolf, right? Which you guys can see it on here. I think it's I don't know where my finger's pointing. I think it's pointing right. I think my finger's pointing the right direction. The Witch's Wolf. I started reading the sample before the live today, before this live, and I couldn't put it down, to the point where I was like, can we reschedule the live? And I'm just going to keep reading this book.
Oh, thanks. That makes me feel good. I was like, what if she hates it? That's going to be so awkward. She's going to stare at me instead.
Because I read Adam's last night, and then I was reading Ginny's over lunch, and then like I'm squeezing your in. Hopefully my my coworkers aren't watching. Squeezing yours in. You know, I'll make up the time, guys. Squeezing yours in, and I was just like, I actually dropped a note to one of my girlfriends and said, I'm obsessed. Like, and I haven't finished your sample yet. So I'm already, I just love, let's just talk about it. Let's just get into it. Like don't give me spoilers though. I'm not going to forgive you if you give me spoilers. I'm going to be very displeased with you if you give me spoilers.
So the witches, so I'm actually, this is my second pen name, like, but I'm so lazy. Like my first pen name is just Heather Carson, my name. And then I was like, well, I have children's books under that name. And I'm like, no, I had a lot going on last year with like my husband being in the military and he was gone a lot. So I was like, I just want to write my stuff. I want more love, more romance, more spice. Like I wanted fun. I love werewolves. Like actually I love bear shifters almost as much as I love werewolves. So I'm always like, maybe one day I'll write that. But so I had this idea for a trilogy. Okay, basically the idea
Can't spoil it. I'm telling you right now. If you spoil it, I will not forgive you.
But you know how like wolf packs, like I wanted the idea of like wolf packs coming from like different historical like wolf, not like shapeshifter, like mythological creatures. So Cerebus oh my god, I can spell it, I can't say it. This is like reader problems. But Hades' dog in the underworld, the three-headed dog. And I was like, well, then we need like a triplet, you know, for this pack. So that each pack actually has like the last name of like a different mythological creature, like throughout different cultures and stuff. But I was like, so I knew I wanted a trilogy of 3 different main characters having their own story and how all their destiny is like intertwined together. So The Witch's Wolf is book 1 of that. And then her sister is book 2, which I thought you might like better because that one's angsty and it's a lot spicier. Like, but and then
I like it all. I like it all. Yeah. So but no, I do like that too.
Sweet. Like it's got darker themes, but it's like a sweet romance. Like I got told it, one of my readers was like, I feel like I'm like kicking my feet and like hugging, like, or like it's like a hug. And I've never seen a werewolf book that's like a hug. And I'm like, I don't know. So it didn't go as dark as I thought it was going to. Book 2 got darker and book 3 got really dark. But yeah, but they're different characters and like each one is like a standalone, but then the story ties over, which if you know my other pen name, I'm the queen of cliffhangers. So I was like, their cliffhangers aren't that bad in this one.
That, you know, I think a lot of readers go through phases. I go through phases. There's times where I really liked each book to be a different couple, and there's times I didn't. There's times I wanted the same couple through a bunch of them. And now I'm at the point where I like it all. It just depends on what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Lately, I like what you're doing because my TBR list is massive, and it's like, yeah, and it's like, and I want to try all these authors, especially for like the spotlights, and it's like, oh, thank God, the whole story wraps up in one book. I can do the one book. I can get to know that author, and then like I'm not locked in for 12 books, But although,
right, and I like to be able to jump. And so like this one, I did like recaps, like from the characters they were explaining everything, because that was my other problem, and because I jump around so much too, or I'll start a series and I'm like, oh, but I really wanted to do this one, and so I like that when they wrap up. But then I was like the intro with all the information, so I can remember like 6 months later. I read fast too, and I jump around a lot, so I completely understand. I have reader problems, and I try to like make my work like appeal to me as a reader. So
well, that's good. I think that's always a good formula, right? Authors write what you want to read.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's good. It's a good approach. I was immediately drawn in. It's such a cool, as I'm reading it, I was thinking of Divergent.
So my original pen name, I Heather Carson, I wrote a lot of like YA dystopian, and posted like high octane. So I have dystopian roots. And so I was like, I have to bring my dystopian roots over. My readers would never let me would never forgive me if I didn't bring my dystopian roots with me.
Oh, I love it.
Centered around that. So yeah, I did bring my dystopian roots with me. I was like, I can't write, like, even though I want my werewolves, I got to mash it with dystopian somehow.
So cool to think like immediately drawn. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. So at the very beginning, the sister, we find out that she's not pure. She's not like pure blood. And it's in a world where there's a border around the city, and outside the border is the
They're called isolated utopias. They're fun.
Yeah. isolated utopias. And so like you have to be pure. And if you're not, then you get sent off to a lab to be experimented, or you have to leave and go in the fringes. It's probably more information than that. But so immediately I'm drawn in because I'm like, oh, they're getting booted out. They're going to have to go to the fringes. And I know I'm at the point where they're at the guard stand leaving. And I'm like,
there's so much secrets are coming. Secrets are coming.
I want to know what's in the fringes. And then I know that all I know right now is there's mutants outside the fringes. I don't know that there's wolves yet. Obviously there's a wolf because there's a wolf on the cover, you know? so it's like, okay, what's going to happen? Where does she meet don't tell me. Where's she going to meet the guy? The guy's going to come in at some point.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
It's like chapter 4.
Okay.
Fast chapters. But it is, so like, you got to remember that they only know the world that they're in. So I try to, like, especially with first person, you have to like reveal things as they learn them, because like, you know, you can't jump ahead. So you just know what they know. So it's gonna blow your mind, or blow their minds.
Yes, I so far, like, and it's got so many cool modern things like the hologram photos in the room. You know, Adam, actually, I know you're probably watching this right now. Might be your jam. There's a lot of like sci-fi to it. There's a hologram things in the room. There's like, tell some of the sci-fi. Like, there's more than that. I'm drawing a blank because
I'm trying to think of how far you are though, because I'm like, hold on,
okay,
the whole city is on like a very scientific. So the themes of it is just science versus magic. So if we're like, you know, like later on you'll see why and stuff. But the city is under. I mean, everything's under telehealth. Like, you know, a disease has been eradicated because of pure blood systems or pure blood lines, and which is all, it's bullshit. But sorry, sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, so. You know, we have like everything's grown like greenhouse wise. Like I don't know, the whole city is self-contained, like a very pure, perfect city. Everything's on the moving escalators, and, you know, traffics or you know, like freeways are all designed in certain ways, and everybody's just like, entertainment is the big thing. And there's so much, there's a lot though that I don't want to say yet. So.
No, it's okay. I'm already in love with this world and this concept. I can't wait to see where it goes, but I'm also really excited to hear that now I have a different character for the second book in the same world. I'm really excited about that. Like, I'm legit excited. So anyways, and it's so cool that you're like in the group for so long and that the group helped you. It's like, that's so cool. That's like, that I have an author that my group helped, and I'm reading her now. And
I couldn't believe it. I've been writing for a couple of years now, like it was like a fun project. And then it kind of became like my part-time gig. And so I was doing that more and stuff. And then actually my Paranormal Romance is doing so much better than any of my other books. I was like, wow. Like, and I think and like I said, there was like a lot that went into the release, but one of the things was like the FanGrrrl Romance group. And I'm like, I don't think it would be where it was today if it wasn't for this group. So it's not, you know, to the point where like I'm full time now because of this. So it's not, you know, like, I'm very grateful for this group. I love it. Like,
oh, that's such a glowing recommendation. Okay, so we actually are out of time, but I want to keep talking. So what we'll do in the authors, go ahead, tell us real quick about your other books that you have, if you want to show them. You know, anything else you want to say?
I'm gonna reintroduce myself to the group in a couple of days because I have a new release, so I'll just wait till then. It's fine. We won't kill anymore.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna pull you out, and then I'm gonna pull everybody back in. Actually, no. Yes, I am. Okay, stand by. Sorry. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm not lying. Like, I started the sample. I was like, I really want to like read all the samples of the authors this time on Spotlight. Sometimes I don't get to because life is busy and I'm reading 5 million things, and FanGrrrl Romance Recs is blown up, and you know, the website and the newsletter and all this jazz. And so I squeezed it in, and I literally couldn't stop reading it. I had to like stop to set this up pretty much. So if that's your jam, if you like dystopian, if you like a twist on wolves, you know, and just something original, you know, if you like Divergent, you like that kind of thing, you like watching Divergent, Hunger Games. Now, I'm not going to say this is anything like Hunger Games, but just the dystopian kind of world, this is your jam. So, and again, I've only read it, I'm like 80% into the sample. That's as far as I've read so far, but I'm digging it so far. So go check it out. The link to it is in the post. Okay, I'm going to pull everybody back in now. I can't even talk. Okay, all right, here we go. We got Jenny. And we have Adam. And we have Heather. All right, this is awesome. Okay, so I'm looking at some comments right now. Thank you so much for being on, you guys. Did you have fun so far?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah? Okay, cool. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
It's easy. Just talk about yourself and your books. That's easy.
Yeah.
Joking. Okay, so we have a question. I'm looking at the comments for questions that happened while we were talking. Okay, so we actually have a question for you, Heather. Are all the books out in the series yet?
Yes, the trilogy, the Fate of Destinies trilogy is complete. It's all written. The only thing somebody wants, never mind. Somebody wants like a later version with more characters. So I was thinking maybe someday I might come back to that, but that trilogy is complete.
That trilogy is complete. Okay, awesome. And then Jenny, we barely touched on to your books at the end there. So is there anything, like, I know we were wrapping up so fast, I feel kind of bad about that. Is there anything that you want to add to your, about your books that you have out right now that people can go grab? And you just start talking about Peter Pan,
Yeah.
I was like, I have to end you on Peter Pan. What?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this book. I really enjoyed writing it. Veiled in Stars and Silver. It's actually part of a set. It's called Enemies Ever After, and it's a set of 10 different authors writing fairy tale retellings. It's all enemies to lovers fairy tale retellings. And so mine's the first one to come out. It comes out May 8th. And then every week after that, the next book in the series will release. So It's really cool.
That's awesome.
I had a question. You said Fairy Tale Bub, but it was going to be on your Instagram, so it's like free books for the fairy tale retellings or something?
Yes, so not...
I'm sorry, I got so excited I was writing down.
She's got a pen.
Not these ones. These ones aren't out yet, but not the Enemies Ever After, but my book will be in it, and then there'll be other fantasy authors that have their fairy tale retellings in it. It's Fairy Tale Bub, and I wish I could... The website is like... Maybe I'll drop it in the chat. It's www.tharlow.com/fairytale-bub. And again, I'll drop that in the chat. But tomorrow, it'll go live tomorrow, so that's the time to check it out. And so if you can't remember that or lose it in the chat or whatever, you can just go to like my pages on J.A. Curtis Books on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll have that information on there.
I'm going shopping tomorrow.
I want to circle back. After I talk to Adam here in a second, I want to circle back and talk to you about it going live tomorrow. Okay. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
Okay. That's a panel topic we can talk about. Adam. All right. You said you have 30 something books.
Yeah.
How long have you been writing?
Well, seriously, since April of 2020, that's when the first sci-fi, the Cassidy Chronicles, came out.
What? That's not a lot. 30 something books in 4 years?
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, when I'm saying 33, I'm including a few which are older than that, but the serious writing has been in the past 4 years. Yeah, and I dropped in the chat, my sci-fi and my fantasy universes, they're actually the same universe. I just haven't written the crossover yet. Throwing some of those characters at each other.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I just wanted to circle back to that because I was like, I didn't even ask him like how long he's been writing with 30 books. 4 years is dang.
Well, you get, and I'm sure Jenny and Heather can attest to this. You get these voices in your head that are just yelling at you saying, you need to tell my story now.
Oh, I understand. I started writing myself.
And you got to do it, right? You got to do it because otherwise that story might go away. So you tell that story right then.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm not going to talk about me much because this isn't about me, but I'm in the middle of writing my second book right now in a saga.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I haven't published the first one. Obviously, you guys would be like yelling, screaming about it. But yeah, no, I get what you mean because like you get obsessed with it. Like they're in your head, and you're like you have to. Also to see where it goes next yourself too, right? Like you have your plot, but a lot of it it's organic as well as you're writing, right? For some.
I was going to say you have your what?
You have your plot line. You know where you're going, right?
No, I thought I knew where I was going.
All right, let's talk about that for a second before I get back to Heather tomorrow. So all right. So how do you do it then? Like if you don't have, do you have your major plot points?
I'm a pantser.
Yeah.
So I know where we're starting, and I usually know where I'm ending. It's just how do I get there? And so I figured that out.
Okay.
I know where I want to
Okay.
end.
Yeah. Okay.
I know where I want to end.
Yeah.
But you know, the Ghosts of Tantor, which was one of my sci-fi books, I threw in a little plot point, and it totally derailed the entire story, and it went a totally different direction. But it was a great direction to go in. So, all right, sure. And I eventually got back to the original ending at the end of the second book, which is coming out later this year.
That's awesome.
So go figure.
Okay. How about you, Jenny?
I'm a plantser. I'm like in between. So like I used to be like complete pantser and just like write, and now like I write a lot faster and I set like crazy deadlines for myself. So like when I write, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to have this more planned out. And so I kind of have like the beginning, a thought of the middle, and definitely where it's ending, and then I do see where the story goes from there. So
Okay. So what did you say? What word did you just use a second ago? You said you're a what,
a
sir?
plantser. I combine plotter and pantser, and yeah,
Plotting
we called it
and
plantser.
Yeah.
Plotting and what?
Yeah.
So readers probably don't know because that's the first time I've heard
Okay,
about it.
okay,
And I
yeah.
talk to a lot of authors.
So a plot,
Pantser. We write by the seat of our pants.
yeah.
Pantser.
You just make it up as you go, see
Oh,
where it
What she
happens.
said.
Yeah, and
pantser.
then obviously plotters are people have everything plotted out in the story, and then they write it. So
A pantser and a plotter. Wow, that's interesting because I work with a lot of UK authors, and you know, pants in the UK means underwear.
Oh.
nice.
Yes.
I learned that.
Yes, I do know that. My wife is British.
My husband's British. I get it.
She likes to say that I'm deaf. She likes to say that I'm bilingual. I understand American and English.
Well, that's probably me too. Yeah, no, I learned it that just real quick. I learned it the hard way. I was living in England. I was working for British Petroleum after college, and every day after work, I would say to I had someone giving me lifts different places because I didn't have a car, and I would say, okay, you know, they would take me to the grocery store, out to the pub, or whatever. I'd say, let me just run inside, and I'm gonna change my pants, or let me go put. I had a skirt on, you know. Let me go put some pants on, you know. And it looked at me really funny. And I didn't, I was young, you know, I was 21, 22, you know, and they would all look at me really funny. And I was like, what is the deal? You know, and then before I left England, the someone I knew in a crowd of people said, I said how cute her jeans were. They were, you know, the sparkly jeans back then. And I said, your pants are so cute. And she went, oh, and she looked at the top of her pant line and she thought her underwear was sticking out, you know? And when she realized it, she goes, oh my goodness, all this time you've been meaning your trousers. We thought you meant your knickers. And I was absolutely more, I love that story. Sorry, I didn't mean to go kind of derail. It was just so funny. So when you just said that you are, say it one more time, Jeannie?
She's a plantser.
I'm a plantser. Yeah, I'm a plotter and a pantser. So
A plantser.
plantser.
Okay. Okay, so there's an L there. That's a saving grace.
Yes,
The
yes.
plantser. Okay. Anyways, all right. So I wanted to circle back to Jenny, what you said about going live tomorrow.
Yeah.
In one of the spotlights, I think it was last week's, or I don't remember which one it was, but that came up about the fact that it's so critical that people go download the book. You don't have to read it.
Yep.
But download it on the release day.
Yeah, it's really important. It gives a lot of visibility to your book, moves it up in algorithms. It helps people find your book a lot easier if you get a lot of downloads. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. So it has to do with the algorithm on Amazon.
Yes. Yep, it does.
Yeah,
The last
okay.
one I did was Zoe Bub, and I ended up getting like 16,000 downloads, and from that I ended up like for months afterwards I had like lots of read through on my book, and so it was really important.
So you're all Kindle Unlimited. Yes, I think.
Yes.
You are. So
Yeah.
so when it sorry, Heather?
Oh, I said Amazon owns me. They've owned me for years. They pay my
So-
paycheck.
When it helps to get it on release day, does that mean just checking out, or does that mean actually downloading to your tablet?
As long as you borrow it, every borrow counts as a sale in Amazon's eyes, and then the reads are how you get paid. But like the sale boosts your rank higher and higher and higher. So rank is based on how many sales are being sold of the book, and so those borrows count as a boost, and that gives you more visibility the higher your ranking is.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't even I knew obviously it's significant to support authors, and I obviously, for all the authors that are, my favorites, and especially, I go and make sure and grab their books. But I didn't realize until these spotlights that the release day was so significant. So that's actually changed the way that I, as a reader, read books now. And I think, and that's why I keep trying to say this when I can on these lives, so people understand that, because they think that and it is great to support them any way, shape, or form, right? It doesn't matter if it's like a month later, but the day is really, in the week too, I think, right? The day and the week are significant. Yeah.
Usually within the first 30 days is what they call a cliff that'll drop off. So, but you kind of want to target most of, like, if you can bring it back, but it's much harder to bring your book back up the rankings than it is to get it high, like around the release. Like,
right.
Yeah, it's more of a struggle after that 30-day cliff. So,
and people wonder why does it matter? Like, why does the rankings matter? And it matters because
Amazon has bestseller lists. I don't know if you've seen those, like the top 100 and stuff. So getting to those lists is ideal, obviously, but the higher ranking your book is, the more that Amazon algorithms show like this book is selling. Let's recommend it to more people. So we want Amazon to help us promote. Otherwise, we're doing it all on our own, and your book kind of falls into the abyss of millions of books. So we work hard to like kind of keep exposure at a certain level, so that way Amazon helps us promote it too.
Right. Yeah. Right. So like,
exactly.
Go ahead, Adam.
Exactly that. I mean, it spirals upward if you can get the Amazon algorithm to work for you. Just like it spirals downward if it's working against you or not working for you.
Right. And that's because there's a lot of books on Amazon from indie authors, right?
Not just
I don't think a lot of people realize that.
General.
There's a lot of books. Like when we say a lot, what number are we thinking? I could Google it and find out, but there's a lot of books.
I mean, it's not just indie authors. There's Amazon was started as a book selling store. Like Amazon's the highest like book seller, but I mean, you're talking like all the books like in prints and everything we're competing against, and that's millions upon millions. But I think ranking goes to like 5 million, 500 million, something like that, or 5 million. I don't remember, or maybe it's 2 million. I don't know.
Well, it's over a million, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like Amazon also emails and recommends books to people too, or as well as like when you are scrolling at the bottom of your Amazon and you see other books that people have read, right? Like when they recommend to you, that's similar.
So your recommendations will be like people who bought this book will also bought this book. So your also bots are recommendations where people, that's really good too. That's a way that Amazon will promote you if your book is high enough ranking. If it's really low ranking, they're not going to put you on that also bot carousel basically at the bottom. And then there's also sponsored recommendations, which are ads that you can pay to be on that page to say like, if you like this book, you'll probably like this book. But if it's not relevant or you're not selling, Amazon will not even if you try to give them money to put it there, they won't put it there with money, because Amazon wants a very personalized customer experience that will give you happy customers. Their database is it's mind blowing how well they can recommend what you'll like. So they know what they're doing to keep their customers happy. And so we are kind of, you're trying to get into this little mastermind of the algorithm constantly, and that's where you get like the release day rankings and stuff. You want those higher, but sorry, I would talk about this forever. I get excited.
No, this is like, I like the panel to focus on things that help to educate us readers, because unless people are talking, we don't know about it, and we don't know. And like a lot of readers, especially in the FanGrrrl groups, we're so pro author. I mean, that's the reason why I built the group like I did, because, so we want to help as much as possible. But if we don't know how to help, it's not as simple as, well, just go read the book. There's other things that we can do, like dropping recommendations in Facebook groups. Yep. That's a huge help,
right.
Covering our posts.
word of mouth is the best advertising because it's honest, it's true.
Yeah.
You're gonna find the ideal reader. Word of mouth is, I mean, it blows everything out of the water. Like,
yeah.
Yep. Read the book, drop a review or a rating. You know, it can, and the review can just be, I love this book.
It doesn't have to be an emoji review, you know, like mine.
Drop the recommendations. And then when you see that author has shared, you know, another link to the book, share it out yourself, you know, repost it and just magnify the author's voice, because, you know, we're just one person shouting into the void. When fans add their voices to ours, that's when more people will hear us and more people will read the book that
credibility
you as the fan have already discovered.
And it also makes Sorry, go ahead.
And it also makes the author feel really good that you're recommending the book, that you like it that much that you're recommending it. So
yeah. And then pre-ordering too, right? Because that shows that there's a demand for it, there's a love for it. You know, and it helps to pay now, right? For authors who are making their livelihood off of it. So yeah, all good things. Okay, cool. Well, let's take and wrap up here. Let's go around, and if you guys want to talk about how people can follow you, where they can follow you at, where you're on, you know, all that jazz. And then you can also drop links to all that in the chat too, so that they can get to you that way as well. Jenny?
Cool. Yeah, I am on Facebook and Instagram. I think I said it a couple times already. At J.A.
Keep saying it again, girl.
At J.A. Curtis Books. Yeah, so at J.A. Curtis Books. My website is jacurtisbooks.com. So it's just really easy to remember. Yeah, that's how you can find me and follow me and get writing updates and other recommendations for other awesome books from other awesome authors.
Awesome. Okay, Heather?
My website is heatherkcarson.com. So original. And you can jump on there. My mailing list. There's a bunch of, my old pen names on there too. Or old names. There's a bunch of free content you can get. There's actually a free short story for the Fate of Destiny series, a prequel to it that you can get for signing up for that. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, even though I'm a hot mess on TikTok. And that's at Heather Carson. But you can come hang out with me anywhere. I'm always down to talk.
Awesome. That's awesome. And Adam, how about you?
So I'm primarily Facebook, Instagram, Threads, just at Adam Gaffen. You know, pretty simple to find me. I believe I'm the only one out there with this name. You can also go to my website, which is CassidyChronicles.com, and find the books and the interviews I do with other authors and sales and, you know, promotions and all that good stuff.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so much fun. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. All right, y'all. Well, I'll see you around on Facebook.
Thank you.